Okay, so thank you guys for being here. So I guess the main reason why we're going to talk today is about like family, you being in the program, being alumni. Have you guys taken the family healing program?
Yes.
Yeah?
Yes, we have.
Yes.
So I guess we can start with how long you've been alumni for, you've been in recovery, when you came into the house.
I came in 2019, and then I was in for about 8 months. Ended up leaving, and then coming back a couple weeks after that, and I did another year after that, consecutively. And now I've been in the program for almost 3 years with a year and 8 months of sobriety.
And then did you guys take the family healing program when he first came in?
So this is how this became about. It was a family healing program that brought us Logan to this place. We were at our wits' ends. My daughter looked online what we could take as a family to help us to cope with what we were dealing with. So she found the family healing program and phoned, and we got into it. And we went as a family, my daughter and Jerry and I. And it was the best thing that we could have ever done because we finally understood about addiction. And so then when Logan would come around, we'd always say, if you ever want help, you could always go to Fresh Start. It's a really nice place and blah, blah, blah. And at that time, it was like he wasn't ready for the help. So, but we had faith that one day he would find and come here. So it was because of the alumni program that brought him here.
And so then you guys took the program, and then how shortly after that did Logan go into treatment at Fresh Start?
It's like a year.
Yeah, it was a while.
Yeah.
Every time Jerry would meet Logan, he would say, "Here's Jennifer's card if you want to if you want to phone her." And Logan's like, "Yeah, fine.
Yeah,
I don't think so." Yeah, it was always, "Here's Jennifer's card." But,
That's so cool.
Yeah.
And then, Logan, do you feel like they had a better understanding of addiction and like how to better support you because they took the family healing program before you went into treatment?
I would say yes and no. It's kind of it's tough to ever do the right thing in in a situation like that, right? Like, I mean, I was homeless, and I gave up any meaning of. I didn't really have any meaning to my life at all. Like, I didn't really care. I lived to drink, and so ultimately, like, there's nothing that you can really do to understand what I was going through without going through it. But what it did give them is, I think it empowered them to set boundaries, right? So, like, one of the reasons why I came into the program was because I was tired of hurting the people that I love. I didn't care that I lost the money. I didn't care I lost all my possessions. I didn't care that I lost relationships. I cared about the people that I loved that I continued to hurt when I tried not to. So them being able to set boundaries was probably one of the healthiest things that they could have done for themselves. And today, it's helped our relationship today because of that.
I do have to agree with that. That's like one of the main things we teach in the program is boundaries, and like you said, like nobody can really understand until you go through that. And so just understanding that like somebody's not going to go to treatment until they hit their rock bottom or until they're ready. But I think that's super awesome that's like what brought you guys here. Are you guys still active in like the alumni and stuff?
Yes, I come every Thursday.
Oh, okay, cool.
Yeah.
I noticed when I took the program, the 12-step, Logan didn't enjoy it. Because prior to that, I used to drive him to the liquor store to pick up a bottle. And then after the program, you know, I was trying to say, listen, buddy, like I'm enable you, just can't do this. So it took him a while. I mean, I still drove him to the liquor store, but not as often. You know, a lot of time I managed to, you know, talk him out of it. So it did work for us. And plus, you know, because he just called me, hey, sure, you want to ride to the liquor store? Yeah, I'll be there, you know. Because he was quite a good con.
Yeah.
Yeah. You know.
Yeah.
I forgot what I was going to say. Sorry. Do you guys feel that you like the things you learned in the family healing are still things you use today? Like tools that are still...
Absolutely.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. I enjoy it. I use it against my wife now. It works. I'm a master. Yeah, no, it did.
It was, you know,
It did come at the right time because you know what? The thing is, at the beginning, you just assumed like you could solve this problem, right? No business, no out there could solve it. But then you come to the point. I think if we were introduced prior to that, I don't think we would have come. I think you got to reach a point that there's no more answer and you're looking for answer. Then it just came at the right time. I'm just saying. So I wonder if you approach someone in that situation at the beginning, I don't think you get anywhere. We need to find some way to be more active, find a way to capture them. But at my point, I don't think I would. I would have been like, Logan, you know, this is stupid, whatever. Like, I could solve this. I have an answer. But, you know what? I have to admit, it came at the right time when my daughter looked it up and they said, you know what, I'm in. She didn't have to convince me, you know.
Because we were all rock bottom.
Yeah.
So I guess we have to experience the same thing. He has to hit a rock bottom. I think we have to hit that rock bottom too as well, I guess.
Well, I think it's pride, and the rock bottom brings you to a place of like of surrender, where I'm willing to try something that's outside of my toolbox, right? I'm willing to take suggestions from somebody else or an organization or people that have done something that's been successful that doesn't seem like it would work, like something simple like, you know, like the 12 steps or going to a meeting to quit drinking. It's like, what do you mean? This guy's stealing from me and he's drinking and driving and he's ruining his life. How is going to hang out with a bunch of more of them going to help, right? So the level of surrender where you're willing to try something outside of the box. I think that applies to alcoholics too, right? So, yeah, I think it's unfortunately one of the most grateful moments of my life was getting to that point because, you know, every time you hit rock bottom, you realize it goes deeper and deeper, and then, you know, it can always get worse.
Oh yeah,
I agree. Like there has to be that willingness. Right. And then I also think like being in the family program as well, like a big thing is like healing for yourself. Right. And not because that's what it is when a lot of people, when they come in and they're just trying to like heal or fix the problem of their person who's in treatment. Right. And so I feel like there has to be that level of like healing for yourself. And like you said, coming at like the right time where it was like, there's nothing else. This is what has to happen. This has to happen for my healing. Yeah, and so I think that's super cool that you guys found the program and you guys were able to come in and take it and stuff. And then, so you guys took the program and then you went to treatment and now you guys are both active in both alumni, which is super awesome. I think that's like a huge piece of Fresh Start as the community, and that's what really keeps people connected and sober and stuff, is being connected to the alumni. I think that's super awesome.
Yeah, I was coming for like a year. On Thursday nights we play hockey with some of the guys in the house and anyway, so she comes on Thursday nights too, and after a couple months a couple of my buddies come up to me, they go, your mom comes and picks you up still? Like, that's kind of weird. And I'm like, no, we're all here, but it's for different reasons. Yeah. It's just coincidence. But yeah, it was kind of funny.
Do you feel that coming on Thursday nights, like, do you think that's kept, like, do you feel like that's kept you really connected?
Absolutely. Yeah. It's great to try and be support for other people too, going through their tough times. I mean, we are really close knit, our alumni family.
Good, yeah.
And it's really nice that we can all be there for each other and talk about, you know, the higher power and what it all means to us. And it almost becomes your support group. And it's really nice that we have each other's back and can talk to each other and no judgments made, right? And that's what's really good about that. So,
well, so what one thing that I've really noticed like happening in your life, like all of the pain that we all went through, it's unfortunate, it was tragic, it was hurtful, but like I remember when I finally started to get it, I really started to get it, like, and she was going to the alumni and like her going to grocery stores and stuff like that, like people that she's known for a while, like they'll come up to her and you know, share their struggles about their family member. But now being on the other side of it, like you're not in the middle of it anymore, you're and even not flourishing, but you're just coming out of the pain and the destruction. It equips you to be relatable to someone on a level that almost nobody else can, right? And then going to the alumni and talking about it openly, it enables you to speak candidly to someone or relatably to someone, and there's not all that shame and guilt and basically just shame, right? Trying to hide all your dirty laundry and realize that everyone's got dirty laundry, and it makes the pain almost worth it, you know? Like
it's so true. Like I stopped in one of the grocery stores, one of the a person that I saw that I knew, she said, well, how's your family? And the first thing I wanted to say, because she was busy telling me how her son's a chiropractor and this one's this and this one's that, and Logan was in rehab at that time. And I looked at her and I said, well, Logan's in rehab and Taylor's doing whatever. And I'm thinking to myself, I really said that out loud. But this was after being to the alumni program. It was like, it's not something to be ashamed of. No, yeah. And other people, could be going through it. And this person just started bawling. And she said, you're like an angel that just came to me. And I go, well, why is that? And she said, well, I happen to have someone I know, and we're going through it right now. And she says, I can't even believe you told me this. So it's surprising how much the alumni help you to help other people too, because you are not ashamed anymore, because it's not to be ashamed of, and lots of people struggle. And if you can help one person, it's amazing. So I felt pretty good by leaving there, and she was like, you're like seeing an angel. So that was pretty cool.
That's amazing. Yeah, when I started at Fresh Start, that was like the one thing that I really loved, was like the sense of community, and like how big and important that is, right? And it really does keep everyone connected. And like you said, like it also helps other people too. It gives people like even that hope, right? Like that hope of like, my son went through treatment and now he's sober, and it can kind of give that hope as well. And I really love that.
Yeah,
I really do.
And then Logan challenged his dad.
Well, so after all the destruction and the pain and everything, I finally get into treatment, and I'm like, we can leave here, and I go for dinner there and hang out at their place. And he's coming to the table and he cracks a beer open. I'm like, weren't you guys just telling me like how many sleepless nights you guys had, and like how much you hated what I was doing, and how much you didn't like what I was doing with my life, and how hurtful it was to you, and now you're drinking what you said that. So I asked him, I'm like, I'll tell you what, for the term that I'm in here, why don't you just try and not drink? And I mean, I thought I didn't think he could. I was almost hoping that he couldn't, so that I'd like see how hard it is. But that was the selfish side of me. But I mean, he quit that day, and he was a pretty regular drinker. Like he drank probably every weekend, I think, since I can remember, and but he quit and hasn't had a drink now, I think, almost 2 years.
Yeah, it is.
Just shocking. No, it's over 2 years. Yeah,
it's over 2 years.
Yeah.
Wow.
So
and he's
right
just
now,
as funny.
I can't wait until he mess up and start drinking, so I can get back in my own room.
Yeah.
Because I kind of miss it a little. No, it's all good. No, it was,
Yeah, it was the best thing that could have happened to our whole family, really. Because, and even his family go, what? You're not drinking? We go out on holidays and
then I notice I don't get invited to the party anymore because I'm boring. I got to readjust.
No.
But no, they're all for the best. Yeah.
He's as funny without drinking as he is with, and I think he just realized that.
He's funnier and less offensive, so it's good. It's good for everyone.
Yeah.
I hear you.
Do you feel like it's helped you in your sobriety to have your dad be sober?
I don't know if I'd say it helped me, because when I first tried to get sober, like, I mean, I had 8 months, and like I thought, like, this is no problem. Like, I mean, I got 8 months now, like I've got this. And he quit, and I was ahead of him a little bit too. It was just kind of cool. And I'm like, okay, yeah, this is. But when I came back and did it the second time, like, it had absolutely nothing to do with what anyone else was doing around me. It didn't have anything to do with getting anything back. I came to a breaking point where I wanted a better life, and I didn't want to live. Like, I exhausted. I had so much fun in my life, and then I had so much misery that the value of the value I placed on getting this new way of life outweighed anything else. So him getting sober, I really don't think it had anything to do with me getting sober or me staying sober, but it has contributed to my enjoyment in life, right? Because like my mom's happier, like he's healthier, right? Like I mean, when you go through the steps and there's a portion where you're looking at an inventory, and like there's so many things in life that we're scared of that we don't even know, and like one of them was my parents dying, right? Like, and that has been huge, right? So I'm very grateful.
Yeah, definitely. No, it was a hard path, and it wasn't easy, because he got to the point at one time I didn't think he was going to make it. Like, and every time we got together, the only thing I hear from him, I want to die, I'm fed up of living. I got to the point there I almost got to say, hey, I'll help you up. Yeah, I'll help you. How you want to set this up and jump over a bridge. Maybe he wants company before you go, seriously, that's kind of evil. But, I loved him. But then I could see him suffering like this. Like, it was pretty bad, It was not good.
For sure.
But he came through. I didn't think he would. Seriously, I thought I was going to bury him one day,
Yeah. Well, it became such a lifestyle, and like it happened so incrementally. Like I lived a regular life, and like I had a job, a career, and all these things, and then slowly, one by one, things started to get removed but I would just adapt to that new life. And then eventually I'm homeless, but then I too would adapt to that. Like that was normal. Right? It was normal that I'm homeless. So getting to the end of my drinking career in a sense, and like my using career, the more beneficial solution in my eyes and in my heart, I honestly believe this, was to die. And I really I believed I had to go through all that to get to the other side of it now. And like I feel like so many people can relate to that, you know, especially now, like self-harm and stuff like that across the world. Like it's just, I know it's really rough, and people don't really like to talk about it, right? It's like, it's problems that lie within us, and you don't really see them from the outside looking in, right? Like alcoholism, you can kind of see from outside looking in, but the things that come with all of that, you don't. And the people that do see it are your family, right? Are the people that you allow close enough to see what's further down in the core. And, you know, I think being able to experience overcoming that, and like, especially with my parents, like with the family healing program and stuff like that, like I guarantee almost everyone that if you find yourself in treatment, there's a very, very good chance your life isn't going the way you like it, you know? And I'm sure everyone can relate to that to some degree.
I agree with that. Like, it's like, especially with like addiction and stuff, it's like everything underneath the addiction.
Yeah.
Right? Like the trauma, the self-harm, the hopelessness, like all of that. I agree. Like that's all like the main, like the addiction's what you see, but all those things are really like the things to deal with. And yeah, like it is like the family is really who sees all that and is affected by that, right? Especially being parents, it's really hard because all you want to do is like fix it and make it go away. You don't want to see your child going through that. You don't want to hear your child saying that he just wants to die, right? Yeah. And it's like that's...
No, it is, because every day, exactly. That's all I hear, you know. It got to the point that he convinced me, like, this is what he wanted. And then you think about it, you know, like what he was going through, you know, you love him so much, but it's kind of evil. You say, well, you know, I'm, you know, trying to set this... make his dream come true. You almost believe it, that that's your best solution. Yeah. Because I didn't see any light in the tunnel. I mean, he got to the point that, like I said, and I was telling to my wife every night, like, there's no way he can come out of there, you know. I mean, to me, you could be an alcoholic. That's, you know, it's bad. Then you could be this, but then in this point, I mean, he was beyond, you know, he was pretty hard. Core, the worst drug you could get on. I don't know if you're allowed to mention it, but you know. And then we had a friend that had a lot of experience. She had three boyfriends, and they were all meth addict. So she came along to help us how to deal with this at the beginning, and that was a big plus. But and when then she was telling us, you know what, like she, you know, had consulted with Logan. We try everything, you know, even to try to detox her place, you know, and all that. And then she come to the point, and she come one day, I was sitting on my deck, you know, she shows up and she says, she hits me and she goes, you know what, there's no point of return here. He's gone. He's gonna be brain damage and this and that, and so I'm going like, you gotta give up, you know. And I'm going, what? And then, like she said, she had 3 husbands that went through. She, you know, she had a lot of experience, so I kind of looked her up on her. So I said, no, I wasn't ready to give up. So we even planned at one time to bring him to her basement because she had lived in the country. And we were going to tie him to the bed and detox him. You know, we all, you know, seriously.
We were trying everything in our power.
Because there was nothing else that was working out there. Like, we went to see the doctor and this and that. Like, we try everything. So that was her last. I was going to tie him to the bed, and we're trying to figure out how we're going to do this. You know, like, come on. That was deep. You know?
It takes a lot to push someone to that
Yeah, but when we had no hands,
that
of course
idea.
we had the experience today, but at the time,
Yeah,
that was before we came to the 12 step, right?
the family alumni.
Yeah, like, So that 12 step, I think it should be introduced. If we would have been introduced earlier, that would have helped too.
Yeah,
think.
but I
You
was
weren't
introduced
ready.
to the 12
But then
steps.
again,
I was introduced 11, 12 years now ago. I was introduced to it.
Yeah.
And I can read, I can understand things. So I'm going through it, and I was around people who are telling me what to do. I'm like, yeah. But to take something, you're taking something from a spiritual basis and implementing into your life, right? And with all the pain that is caused around you, everything that you're seeing, it takes you out of that. I don't know. It takes you really. It pulls you into the world, and you see things for what they are, not for what they could be, right? And so the steps, it took me to get to a place of defeat, and you guys do take to a place of defeat where you're willing to pull on something that you don't even know if it's there, but you're willing to pull on something like the steps and family healing program, things like this, and implement them into your life, and then you get to see the fruits of them actually developing, right? Because if it doesn't get bad enough, then it's just it's a support group of people that just hang out together and lift each other up, right?
Mm-hmm. So now that he's recovered, our family time is great because we do games. We play games, a lot of cards. It's just totally different. Lots of laughing, lots of fun. We'll say, Logan, you guys want to come over? Want to come play, 19 or whatever, or Monopoly. And while he was recovering in here, we made a point as a family to come and be with him and play Monopoly on Saturday nights. We'd come and play Monopoly. And it was cool because the other guys come over and go, what are you guys doing? And we're playing Monopoly. And this one guy says, well, can I join? And we said, sure, right? But I think it's so important once your loved one has recovered that you have that love still and make sure you make time for them so that they know once they've recovered, they still have you. And I think that's really important because some people say, you know what, I don't care, you recovered, whatever, good for you, I don't want nothing to do with you. And I think a lot of addicts, once they've recovered, all they want is their family. And it's so important to be there for them so that you can have that wholesome family again.
It is important, but it's not easy to
forgive.
Yeah, it's true. But I really strongly feel that family needs to, if you can, stick behind them for their recovery.
No, I agree. You need to forgive. But I was telling my wife, I do forgive him, but I won't forget. But now, I'm still working on it. I mean, once in a while, I'm going, I don't know, what do you put us through? But now I understand his point of view, too. I could see it, it was not him. That was not my son at the time, But we are healing, every day. Things are much closer, and,
And at first, it's awkward. I think when they first, because you're like...
Yeah, it's like you have leprosy. You don't want to get close enough. You don't want to catch addiction,
It's true. Right. It's kind of different. And then once it starts becoming the way of our life now. And now it's like, oh, wow, this is how it is. It's not scary anymore.
Well, this kind of ties into what we were talking about earlier. So when I began my journey of recovery, there was two different versions of me, right? There was me that went to meetings and in recovery, and then there would be me that goes to work. And then there'd be me that, hangs out with my family and friends that aren't in recovery. So there'd be I'd be 3 different personalities. Like I wouldn't talk about recovery things with other people, and like so becoming one person, like the things that I do when I go to meetings, and I'll talk about this at work, I'll talk about this to strangers, like I don't care, because it's who I am. And I think that's where the freedom came from. And like my mom mentioned, like going to the grocery store and having someone come up to her and her sharing that, it's like, well, that's who you are, right? This is something that you went through, and it's something that you can't undo. So ignoring it doesn't help. It just pushes it down. So embracing it and going, yeah, no, this is who I am. That's where I experience the most freedom, because there's nothing I'm hiding behind. It's not like if I say the wrong thing, they're going to know I'm in recovery. They're not going to, that was where I found the most freedom in my life.
Like owning your truth.
Yeah, it's who I am.
And not being ashamed. Because it's hard, and it's hard to tell other family members that you have an addict. And I remember when I finally told everybody, and it was so freeing.
When you told everybody, it was here at Stampede, was it?
Well, we had an interview
that was
with
kind of air out to
CTV. We did an interview, which I'm telling you, it was probably the best thing that could have happened, because we told the whole countryside. Like my phone was beep, beep, beep all the way, right? And it was amazing, because how many people walked up to me, wow, and they're like, can you come in my office for a bit? I have something to talk to you about. It was crazy. And then they'd say, I've been clean for whatever, and I'm like, okay. And you think it just, you don't expect that. And it's funny, because in our alumni program to this day, to teach them, to the others that are just joining, to tell them that it's okay to talk about it, because we once never wanted to talk about it, but now we do. And they're like, I like some people say, I can't imagine. And yeah, okay, and it's okay, but one day you'll want to, and it's cool.
What's funny about that is when I just got in the house like a week prior to them asking me to do the video for the Fresh Start Stampede thing. And so I'm thinking, like, oh yeah, I gotta be on TV. Like I was just so full of myself. I was all excited about this. All the attention was my way. I don't think a single person mentioned to me that they seen it or anything like that. And it wasn't like for like a month or a month and a half after, it dawned on me. I'm like, oh, it was nothing to do with me. My mom was just so excited. She's like, all these people are coming up to me. They're asking me, like, this man came up to me in the grocery, broke down and cried and told me this. And I'm like, oh, it wasn't about me, So it was pretty cool.
Yeah, so cool. When you guys took family healing, did your other family members know at this point that like Logan was in active addiction? You guys were taking a family healing program.
Yes.
And then did they know like when you went into treatment and stuff? Like, has that always been really open, or was it kind of like
no? It was very open. Yeah.
Well, even if he would have tried to hide it, it was too much. It was the whole neighborhood, and
cops.
We couldn't hide it. Yeah. Like I know it's not easy to keep it a secret. Like everybody's got a perfect family, but this one we couldn't. It was
definitely couldn't keep that. And we always say, everybody has their little secrets. And then it came out.
But it was at the beginning, and then we couldn't, like it was too much, and then we reached out a little bit among the family and friends out there, which, that kind of helped. But,
That's good.
Well, and you gotta, I don't know, some people that are closest to you, like if they don't know of anything that's going on, or like they haven't gone through it yet, or don't know anything about it, it's like, I don't know, you have to be kind of mindful of who you're sharing all of this with at the beginning, right? Like as you start to go through and you start to heal and grow, then like whoever you like. But I mean, I think it's important. Like that's why the family healing program is I think a staple in our journey, because it gave them a place to speak with people that can at least relate, like, hey, my son too, or my daughter too, or I know what you're talking about. Yeah, cops showed up at my place too 4 or 5 times this month. It's like not everyone can relate to that, right?
Yeah.
So, it's important to be open about everything. But there's 8 billion people in the world, and we weren't designed to overcome things by ourselves.
I agree with that. Is there anything else you want to talk about?
No, I mean, I think
Are we on the time schedule here? We only have a few more minutes, or?
Yeah, we got some more time. Maybe it might be pretty powerful to talk about the impacts of recovery, the emotions that it took, the healing that it took to after the fact, right? Because of all those pieces making the amends, and what that kind of process looked like, and how the relationship looked afterwards, and then maybe towards the end, if you want to talk about what you're kind of doing now and
what life looks like
what
now.
life looks like now for all of you.
and we got that's about an hour and a half worth of footage you got here.
Yeah, well, it's going to be a lot of
yeah.
So if you just
Yeah.
cue that up as a entry point.
Okay, so what was the first
There's a
thing?
lot there.
Robbie?
Give your nose a blow.
So Robbie, you want the impacts of recovery?
Yeah, I mean, just whatever naturally.
Okay.
The impacts of recovery.
Yeah.
The process of it, that healing, what the healing looked like, emotions that you guys went through and brought you to where you guys are now, and then just talk maybe about what life looks like now for each one of you.
Okay.
Is a healthy closer, I think, to just
Yeah.
So now you've been sober for how long?
It's like a year and 8 months.
Yeah, so now you've been
like that.
sober for over a year. What does recovery look like for you?
My desires and my ambitions and my goals have been molded with recovery at the foundation. And I know if I were to hear me say this back when I was in the middle of it, I'm like, look at this nerd, But that's the truest thing I can say, because my identity is rooted in me being recovered, right? Like, I mean, I've fallen down in the past, and now I've made a decision to get up and do my best each and every day. Doesn't mean I'm going to be successful, but I'm willing to try. And today, my main focus is helping other people, and like, what does that look like? And giving. I know when I was using my, like, word, we can give words, right? Like, we can give kind words to people, but in my using days, like, I mean, I used my words to manipulate my way into situations or to serve me in some degree, right? My words were either to be hurtful to you or I wanted something from you. And like, that was directed towards my family, towards relationships, towards potential career options. Like, so today I focused parts of my day on giving kind words to other people. And like, it's unbelievable, that little shift in my life, the impact that you can see on other people, my day-to-day life incorporates prayer each and every day. I remember when I first came in, my sponsor, I would call him with some issues and stuff, and he would ask me if I prayed about it, and I'm like, did you not hear what I'm talking about? Like, it's not a fairy tale. Like, this isn't like a joke. I got an issue. And today I would say that, like, it's unbelievable. Like, recovery has cleared out enough rubbish in my heart, really. Like, I was so hard-hearted that it's cleared out enough rubbish that I could now see and make a conscious decision as to what I wanted to follow for faith. And I'm I'm an active member in a church. That was one of the first commitments that I made when I came back into the house. I said, okay, I'm just going to go every Sunday. And looking back over my life, I don't think I've really kept any other commitments ever, right? They've all kind of fallen through. There's nothing I've really held my word to that has worked out in the long term. So I still attend every Sunday, and we're, almost coming up on 2 years now. I volunteer. I try and do that at least once to twice a month. And these things that I used to feel were like I would dread doing those things, right? And like today, I look forward to them, and I actually enjoy doing them. And I think that's probably one of the biggest radical shifts that I've seen is like the things that I didn't used to like, now I enjoy. And then I used to like drinking, and now I don't. So it's cool. It's like you give something up, and if you're willing, and God will always replace it with something that you actually like.
That's so cool. And what have the impacts of his recovery and also taking the family healing program been for you guys?
I think it really, for me, I have taught myself and have learned not to be so judgmental of other people. And because you got to never mind about other people's business. And I think that was a huge thing for me, because we don't know what people are going through. Nobody knows what everybody's going through today. So I think that was huge for me with the family healing program. It taught us, to be kind as well. They kind of go through the same, and make sure you're kind to yourself, and make sure you're taking care of you. Because if I don't take care of me, when Logan needs me, I can't take care of him if I'm sick. So he was sick, and I was getting sicker. And then that's when the family healing program helped us to learn how to take care of ourselves and start worrying about our own self and not everything else. And that made a big difference, because once I realized that, I think that's when it hit Logan more too, to say, like he would say to me, you're different, your ways of thinking are different. Because the family healing program helped us on how to relate to him too, because I did have my boundaries, and I did have,
Yeah, I did, because everything was negative, right?
Yeah.
With Logan, and we had to switch that around. It was not easy, thinking positive when we didn't see nothing positive about this situation. Yeah, it did, actually. It was amazing.
It was amazing, because we were able to get through it. And for us all to go in the household as a family, I think was pretty cool, because we all knew that we all had our own boundaries with him. Dad's was different than Mom's. Mom's was different than his sister. And we kind of all had to respect everybody's boundaries and take it all into consideration, because we all had to do that to heal too, to help us, our own selves, right? So if Taylor and Logan didn't want to see each other, or if Taylor didn't want to see it, I had to respect her for that, and vice versa, right? But once, I think that's what really helped us, was the family healing program, saying, you know what, it's okay to have boundaries. It's okay to, to not just break down and give in, and,
Well, it's like the codependency cycle being broken, right?
Yeah.
Like, you need me to be happy for you to feel like good about yourself, and then I need you to do what I want for me to feel good about myself or to get my needs met. So, and at the end of the day, it's like it's enabling, but it comes from a place of like fear, right? Like you don't really know what else to do. Like you love someone, but sometimes it doesn't help. So yeah, I don't know. I don't know what my journey would have looked like if it wasn't for the intervention that you guys had in your path to come here, right?
Yeah, because it really truly helped, because it actually changed all of us. Because we, like we said, we had our boundaries, we knew what we needed to do, and like I said, and once he recovered, you worry, but as time goes on, you go, well, you know what? Today's a good day, and every day's a good day. But to get to that point, do we have PTSD? Absolutely. Did we? Absolutely. You'd hear a siren, and my heart would throb, because we had so much going on in our household that would remind us of what happened, So it was hard, but like I say, the family healing program really helped us get through it, and to teach us that it's not our fault was a big thing. I'll never forget how Jennifer stood in front of the classroom and said, first of all, I bet you all wrote down, it's my fault. And we did. And she goes, first of all, I want you to know it's not your fault. And I think that was a big thing that really sticks with me, because that's what changed a lot of things, because you keep wanting to blame yourself for everything. And to find out, no, it's not my fault. It helped.
When something's going so wrong, like so wrong, it's hard not to think of like why. Like, why is this going so wrong? Especially if it's someone else's life. Like, you have no control over like what I was doing, right? Like, yeah, you guys raised me, but I mean, like, you didn't raise me to do what I did, So, but watching it, it's like, yeah, okay, it's hard not to point the finger at yourself to say, yeah, like, well, whose fault is it, right? But at the end of the day, it's like, I made choices and I made decisions and I did things that I ended up here, and I would have loved to be able, well, I wouldn't have, but at the time I would have loved to be able to say, yeah, it is your fault, but today looking back, like, it's absolutely not, right? And then like it's part of our story now, and then like it's something that we can, and you know what, time is something that's been healing this, right? Like, I mean, I know I've seen that in you anyways, right? Like, I know I still call you sometimes on my lunch break, I'll, on the one-off time, and you're like, something wrong? I'm like, whoa.
Yeah.
No, but it's very rare, right? So it's time will heal that stuff. But I mean, we get to, I don't know, we get to wear it as a badge of completion. We overcome it.
No, I do agree. I'm sure every parent's up there when they see their son or daughter go. We tend to blame each other, right? Like, I blame my wife for things she did, the way she raised them. She blamed me, and we went back, and you just get carried away. And sometimes, well, you know. So we didn't raise you. We did raise you the best. It was your decision, right?
Yeah.
See, I told you.
Yeah.
I told you I did the.
And as a couple, it's probably the hardest thing to overcome. Like, you either make it or break it, because like you both have your own ideas, but then through this, we made it, and we are stronger as a family now, I think, than we've ever been. But a lot of people, it can break you too, because I'm telling you, for what you have to go through, you want to give up your own, because you're just like, there's so much turmoil in your household that it's hard to right? And that's where the family healing program helped too, right? Because I remember both of us would go to bed and cry together then, and say, what do you think's going to happen now? What's going to be the result? You know, I remember doing that more than once. But and if you both can be on the same page for, you know,
that's the
helps.
key. You got to be the same, but you know, it's much easier to be negative. You know, and I never did apologize for all the thing I said about you.
Yeah.
I thought she was a bad mother.
No, but it's true. You do want to blame each other for what you do, and then you find out.
But you never did apologize to me either. You called me a bad dad and stuff
you're,
that I did. Like,
no, you're a good
25 years
dad.
ago.
It wasn't your fault either, but it was tough times, let me tell you. And like you said, as the time goes on, it's
sometimes I sit back and wonder if we never took the steps.
The program.
I wonder.
Yeah, where?
I don't know. I don't think we made it through.
I don't know if we would have either, because the alumni.
It
really saved our life.
You know.
As a family. It truly did.
I personally, I don't think we'd be sitting here.
And
if it wouldn't have been.
We took it in the cold. It was January, because we came right after Christmas, and it was cold out. Oh, do we have to go? And we say, yeah, we have to go. So we would go, and you know what? Every Thursday, and like Jennifer says, not many people come as a family, and the family was the best to come, because we all knew about the program together. Yeah. It wasn't just one of us coming home telling the rest, well, blah, blah, blah. We all went together, which I think was really helpful. If a family can go as a family, they can learn it all.
Together. And heal together.
Heal together.
But you felt right into the program. She, like it was a big plus for her. It took me about 2 sessions, in the beginning, like I went to support her, more or less to support her. But I wasn't into it I think it took me a few sessions. And then they captured me.
They gave you a little chip, and you're like, "Oh, look at this! Look what I got! They gave me one of these. Look at this! It's a nice thing." Yeah.
It took me a while to get into it, because you still believe you have the answer, right? Like nobody could cure him. I could do it, So, until you reach there, it was good.
I don't know where we would be today if it wasn't for the family healing program, honestly. I don't think we would be, like you say. I don't think we'd be where we are.
Maybe I'd be with Logan.
On the street.
Homeless in the street. We'd be dad and father.
Yeah, it's not a good joke.
No. That's not a good joke.
Not a good joke.
Well, you would have kicked me out.
No.
Oh, okay.
That's usually how it goes. I'm just joking.
But
it was awesome. No, I support the program. I do.
I think that's amazing that you guys found that.
But you know what? I was just about there too, because you know what? I remember about a week prior to the program, it was a beautiful day, and jump in my hand. I'm on my way to work. The sun was out. It was about 9:30 in the morning. I'm driving, and suddenly, like, I had to turn my wipers on because I said, wow, there's a storm out there. Then I realized it was me. I broke up so bad, like I had to pull on the side of the road, like it just hit me so bad, like, And then a week later, we're here. So that was, it was a big plus, It was pretty ugly.
So I thought you made that story up a couple of years ago,
No.
but now that's exactly
No,
what
I
you
didn't
told
make
it
that up.
2 years
I'm
ago.
serious.
So
I'm
okay.
Yeah, I'm serious. Like, but you know what? Like, you hold everything in, right? And you just try. Then sooner or later you're bound to,
It's amazing. Thank you guys for being here today and sharing your story and everything. I appreciate it.
Thank you for having us.
Thanks. It was awesome.